Alright folks, just let me know if y'all can hear me or not. Had some technical difficulties, but we in there now though. I'm just going to give people some chances to come in. Good, loud and clear, solid. So I'll give everybody like maybe 2-3 minutes. So make sure y'all hit share on this, please, because y'all know we got to get some people in here. Y'all been dragging me too hard for people to not catch this live. So please share this, because we need to make sure that this stuff gets out. All right. I mean, y'all almost tried to pin me to the cross, man. I thought I was your favorite therapist. I don't know what's happening. But you know, that's life. So before we start this, I am definitely going to open up with a word of prayer, because this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people. And we need to make sure that we do this thing with wisdom so that nobody's offended. Well, some people are going to get offended, right? But we also understand that we need to make sure we say what we need to say properly, because a lot of people are in here to get some solid words today. And we got to make sure that everybody receives what it is they need to receive. This looks stable on your side, right? You want it? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, folks, so I'm going to pray, okay? Father, I just ask that you bless this live right now, and that you allow people who are in this room to receive what it is that they need to receive. Please open up the hearts and the ears of those that are hardened. Please help those that need this message to be here today. Guide my mouth, Lord. Use it as yours. In your name we pray. Amen. So, if y'all were here maybe about 2 days ago, y'all would have been able to see that I posted something on my Facebook status and it went super viral. Let me see if I can actually find that for y'all. Yeah, that was 2 days ago. And I think what it was, I said, paying bills is not taking care of a wife. That's your duty, okay? And it seems like a lot of people didn't like that, especially from the men, because it seemed very polarizing. I said, paying bills simply alone is not taking care of your wife. It is a duty that has to be done regardless. And the reason why I posted that is because in my office a lot of times, men come to me and they are very frustrated because their women don't seem to be appreciative of all that they're doing. And many times I try to get guys to understand that paying bills is not enough when it comes to taking care of women, okay? Maybe back in the 60s, maybe back in the 70s, before women used to really enter into the workforce, that was a thing. But now we got to understand that things are a little bit different. And what I want this live to do today is to shed a little bit of light on exactly why that is the case, okay? So we're starting off today by answering a question. What is a husband? A husband is a man that has chosen the responsibility of creating an environment for his woman to become a wife in. Okay? I can say that one more time. A husband is a man that has chosen the responsibility of creating an environment for his woman to become a wife in. Okay? This is very important, because this means the quality of his husbandhood is directly related to the quality of his choice in the woman he takes to be his wife. Okay? The reason why a lot of y'all men are frustrated when it comes to paying bills and doing things for your woman is because you're giving the best of who you are to a woman that may not necessarily mean you anything well. Hold on now. See, just because you like a woman and just because a woman is nice, it doesn't always mean that she is the best choice for you. Okay? And a lot of times men elevate women in their lives that are decent women. They are nice women on paper, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the best woman for you. And being a good man to the wrong woman does not undo her still being the wrong woman for you. Okay? Let me tell you why that's powerful. A lot of times men think that they can change the nature of who their woman is by simply paying off her bills or by simply taking care of her physically. But fellas, I have seen a lot of men lose the beauty of who they are because they chose the wrong woman to give the best of themselves to. And as a man, you cannot outwork that bad decision by simply being good to her. The wrong woman isn't someone who is simply not on your level. That's also someone whose level you're not on as well. And men oftentimes like to try and bat a couple of leagues above where they are, and so you end up taking on a woman who's used to a certain lifestyle. And because she's used to a certain lifestyle that you may not be used to paying for, you now look at her needs as though it's a problem, when really it's the kind of woman that you have chosen. And so when you take a woman from her father, or she buys into your proposal, you take on everything she is, you take on everything she's used to, and you take on everything that she is to become. Okay? I want y'all to understand that for a minute. Fellas, when you decide to say that I am ready to be serious about a woman, you are inheriting everything about what that woman is and what that woman went through. Now, it's up to you to determine whether you did a good job uncovering everything that has happened in her life. Do you know her father? Do you know her exes? Do you know her family? Because if you're not aware of what that woman is and who that woman is, when you decide to take her on under your umbrella, that's now your woman. Okay? You don't get the luxury of telling your woman how to feel. Your woman's going to feel whatever it is that she's feeling, and you as her man are going to have to learn how to see that and legitimize that, or you're going to start to create neglect in that relationship. Okay? So dating is when you're proving to her that you can take care of her responsibilities, her needs, and her heart. Okay, that's what dating is all about. And either she is going to buy into that foundation that you're setting, or she's going to reject it. So fellas, when y'all are dating, this is your opportunity here to get to know that woman. When you look at how she's carrying on in public, when you look at her nature, when you look at the kind of things that she's into and not into, this is your opportunity to see, do I want more of this woman in my life? Or do I need to kick her out? Okay? Now, at this point, she knows you love her. She knows that you care for her. But knowing that you're loved is fine. But feeling that you're loved is even better. Now, this is what a lot of women come to me in therapy and say. They say, Harrison, I know that my man loves me, right? I know that my man wants the best for me. But truth be told, I don't often feel the love that he says he has. Now, this is crazy to a lot of men. How you can't feel the love that I have for you? And we just spent the last weekend in Fusion VIP, right? I got you steak and mashed potatoes. IMAX already is $60 each. What you mean you don't feel it? And see, men quantify feeling with a doing thing. We think that because we've carried you out, or because we took you on a trip, or because we have done a lot of things for you, that means you feel it. But see, what she's trying to say here, fellas, she wants you to hold more emotional space for her. Doing things is fine, but doing things without contributing to that emotionality, she's not going to feel the love you claim to have. Okay? Give me 1 second, guys. This thing is saying I need to change the frame rate. Can you all see my frame rate properly, or am I glitchy? Just let me know for a minute in the chat. I just want to make sure y'all get the best of this now. Okay. Cool, so we're looking good. All right. So, like I said, at this point, she knows that you love her. But see, to a logical man, that's all we need. Logical men only need to know that we are loved. Logical men don't necessarily need to feel love. And see, that's the thing a lot of men get wrong. Your woman needs to feel the love. And feeling the love is all about the impact that you are creating in that woman's life. Okay? This is where every man begins losing the plot. Knowing you are loved is logical. Okay? Feeling you are loved is emotional. Let's catch this good now. A man's psychological makeup doesn't naturally make room for this. And this can be difficult for men to see value beyond duty and financial obligation. So let's pause there for a minute. Men often quantify the fullness of their doing by their hands. And so a lot of times when men think that they're doing things for their woman, they believe that in their mind they are creating these moments of impact for this woman to feel love. But that's not always true. Feeling love for women is all about emotional presence. Feeling love for women is all about emotional intelligence. It's all about holding space to see what it is that she's going through. But after a hard day's work, fellas, sometimes it's very difficult to hold space for that woman, especially when you're tired. especially when you feel like you've been given the best of who you are to everybody else that isn't you. Okay? Your woman deserves a little bit more of that commitment. So let's talk about the psychology of men. Men everywhere share in the same basic mentality. And that mentality says that we don't need to be happy to do what we need to do in life. Let's think about this now. I don't need to be happy to do what I need to be doing in life. This is interesting. Because if I don't need to be happy to do certain things in life, why do you need to be happy? If I am quite fine right here doing what it is that I am doing and I don't need to be happy, why do you need to be happy? And the reason, fellas, that this happens is because we start to expect ourselves out of our women. Okay? You can't be expecting yourself out of that woman and expect that woman to feel seen, heard, and understood. Okay? Now, maybe a couple of years back, I was talking to one of my friends. And I guess one of the benefits of having a therapist as a friend is that you get to pick his brain for insight and information. So he said, Harrison, man, I'm looking for a woman, but I'm having a hard time finding this woman in this country. He said, the culture that we are in, the culture that we live in, unfortunately, I just can't seem to find a decent woman who's worth my time. And so I said, tell me what kind of woman you're looking for. The first thing he said is that I'm looking for a woman who's watched sports. I'm looking for a woman who into football. I'm watching for a woman who into basketball. I'm trying to find a woman who could sit down with me and actually watch sports and be interested in the sports. He said, you think women out there like that? And I said, of course. In fact, some women out here are more into sports than men. So I said, what else is it that you're looking for? He says, the second thing that I'm looking for in my woman, Harrison, I want a woman who could drink Guinness with me. Okay? He said, I don't want a woman who could be telling me, hey, drinking too much, or why are you drinking and it's only a Tuesday. I want a woman who is actually going to sit down with me, enjoy a Guinness, and watch the NBA, watch the NFL. I say, he said, you think you could find a woman like that in Nassau? I say, maybe not in Nassau, but you could maybe find one in Andros, right? Now, no diss on my Andros women, but I see y'all put down some Guinness before. You can save that for another live. I said, what's the last thing that you're looking for in a woman then? The last thing he said is that I am now looking for a woman who isn't going to stress me out. I said, hold on now. You want a woman who can sit down and watch sports with you, who enjoys it and who understands it. You want a woman who's going to sit down and drink Guinness with you and not complain about drinking too much Guinness. And then the third thing is you want a woman who ain't going to stress you out. I said, I think you like mine. I said, because if you really sit down and think about it, all of the qualities that you just listed out to me is things you could find in a man quick. I know about 10 different dudes right now who'd be ready to have you as a boyfriend. And see, that's the problem. Men think sometimes that they want a woman who is a reflection of themselves, but really and truly, the only thing you're going to find as a reflection of in yourself is another man. Okay? So we laugh, we get off, and I said, it's interesting how sometimes we think the things we want in a relationship is us. Okay? But believe me when I say, you don't want yourself in a relationship. You don't want to find someone with the same kind of energy as you. You need someone complementary to you. And to find someone complementary to you is to understand that differences are a part of all relationships. Now, some of y'all on this live right here, y'all are quick to call differences negative simply because you don't know how to deal with diversity in people. Okay? A lot of y'all don't know how to hold space for the fact that people come from different backgrounds. They come from different experiences. They have different ideas of how things should be in life. And because you're not holding space for that, you end up demonizing that and you start labeling that as a negative thing, sabotaging the same relationship you say you prayed for. Now imagine this. Imagine sitting down and asking God for a woman. And then you get the woman that you've been asking for. But because of the differences that this woman has, you now start saying, Lord, I need another sign. Lord, I need another sign to see if the first sign you give me was the real sign or if this sign was only me looking for things that wasn't really there. Now, all of us are guilty of this in some way, in shape and form. But you got to start being a better steward of the things that you are praying for. The reason why you can't be a good steward of the things you're praying for is because y'all ain't dealing with yourself. A lot of y'all are trying to find salvation in other people who can't give you salvation because you haven't put the time in your own life to sit and heal. Now, I'm not the only therapist in Nassau. You got to make sure you're talking to a pastor. You got to make sure you're talking to a professional. You got to make sure you're talking to someone who could expose some of these dysfunctional patterns and thoughts in your head, because a lot of y'all are damaging good people. Good people who ain't asked for none of this negativity. But because you say you wanted a relationship, because you say you were serious, because you say you were ready to carry it there, this person decided to believe in the story that you were selling them. And now you've carried this woman's heart to a place in which you don't have the tools to manage. Okay? You can't be mad when a woman is now complaining that you sold her on a lie that you're not following through on. And the reason I can tell you that, all Bahamian men are born dream sellers. Okay? In fact, I get my wife selling a dream. She right in the back here watching me. But see, the problem is I wasn't only selling a dream, I was also committed to making sure that that dream became reality. And see, a lot of y'all is be dream selling, but y'all ain't dream workers. Okay? Everybody knows how to pick up the brochure off of the table and say, ooh, sunshine and sea, boy, this look nice, eh? They don't tell you on Welcome to the Bahamas brochure that it could smell like piss when you pass in Potter's Key Dock. On the brochure, it doesn't say that our garbages are overflowing with trash. On the brochure, it doesn't say that we used to be warm people. The brochure is an attempt to show off the best parts of something. But see, if you're not a comprehensive man, a man who is able to pull on his mind, his body, and his soul, you're going to start to look at these challenges with women as though it's simply the woman's fault, when really it's not the fault of a woman. It's the man. See, relationships can't start without men. See, women grant access to sex, but it's the men who grant access to relationship, because it's he who finds a wife. Now, you got some women out there now, so who just be putting gun to your head to say, hurry up and marry me now. That's a wife who find a husband. We ain't talking about them. That's abominations. We ain't talking about them. For the men who are out here looking for a wife, you got to understand that it is your job to create an environment to bring that woman into. If you are going to bring a woman into an environment, you have to outfit that environment with things that that woman needs to survive. Okay? Now, if you don't extract out of that woman the truth and reality of who she is, because trust me now, not all women are good women. This ain't no beat up session on just men. There are some women out there who are equally narcissistic and low on the accountability scale. Fellas, y'all got to be wary of these women. Okay? Do not let these women swing you with good sex. Do not let these women swing you with sweet talks. You got to have the ability to say no to your penis so that you could see the fullness of who this is you're dealing with. Okay? Because what they forget to tell you in Sunday school, sleeping with the devil feels good. Dealing with the devil feels good. Okay? And there's a lot of women out there that have learned the nuance of what to say, that have learned the nuance of what to do to seem like they are good, decent women. Okay? You all see a lot of my posts. Not everybody who under my post talking about all Harrison facts, all Harrison truth. Don't worry about that. Some of these women are not good women. And fellas, y'all got to get better at choosing decent women. Some of y'all choosing women because you're so used to them being in your life. The history does not mean that that is a good choice for you. Okay? Her being in the same church as you doesn't mean that it is a good choice for you. But see, you got to understand that you are the picker. Okay? Don't ever let a woman pressure you too soon into picking her. Because you are the man who got to deal with that decision for the rest of your life. Now, even the Bible says it. It is better to sleep on the roof than to be in the house with a quarrelsome woman. You hear what that is? Now, someone in the chat saying that's them red set, but you ain't getting into that. Because I's a dark-skinned kind of guy, so I ain't know about them red gals. I can only talk about dark-skinned women. I find I picked a good one. And see, I dated my wife. Get ready for this now. I dated my girlfriend for 8 years. It was 8 years, right? I dated her for 8 years. Okay? Now, of course, that was in our college time too, so we were back and forth from Florida. I was in Texas. At one point, she was in Greece, and I was in Dickinson State, North Dakota, playing football. And let me tell you, dating was difficult because we had to prioritize the relationship through a lot of different challenges. There was a time zone challenge where 6 a.m. for me was like 6 p.m. for her. I was up before football so that we could hop on Skype, talk for about an hour, and then reconnect before we go to sleep. And I can't tell you how difficult it was as a young island boy with an accent, I ain't too ugly, playing football in a foreign country. I didn't have to be committed if I didn't want to, but commitment is always going to be an inconvenience to your raw carnal nature. Okay? A lot of y'all is be looking for the right person to help you commit, but ain't no right person out there got enough going on in their life to make you feel good about commitment perpetually. There's some work that you're going to have to do to stay focused and committed, because even the person that is right for you, even the person that God has sent to you, you could still have to do work with that. Okay? Just because God sent them, just because you believe that this is the one God picked out for you, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. The relationship and the person that God has for you is going to come with challenges. And when those challenges come, you got to know exactly how to deal with those challenges. Okay? So let's go back to the psychology of men so we can understand that more. Like I said, men everywhere share the same basic mentality. And that mentality says that we don't need to be happy to do what we need to be doing in life. That's why you see when a lot of men start talking to women about things that they got to do, just be quiet and do it. Why you always got to worry about how you feel? Why you always got to be happy before you start doing things? Because in our male psychology, we're built a little bit differently. Leadership and happiness are not mutually exclusive, but they do have a complex relationship, because happiness can enhance leadership and it can make it more fulfilling, but it's not a prerequisite. Okay? So what does this mean? Men don't have to be happy to do what they have to do in life. Now, there are some women who are also the same. There are some women who don't need to be happy to do what it is they should be doing in life. But for a lot of women, how they feel determines a lot of the quality of their life. Okay? We just need to note that. So, in a relationship, leadership demands a blend of financial stability, emotional strength, intelligence, and the ability to inspire and motivate. Interesting. The ability to inspire and motivate. So essentially, men are designed with the ability to compartmentalize our lives to maintain efficiency in what we prioritize as importance. Okay? This is called competence. I want you to catch the male psychology here. When a man got something to do, he don't care about his mental health. He don't care about his feelings. He doesn't care about the naysayers. He's going to do what he has to do as a duty. That's why you find that when a woman starts talking about how she feels in relation to what it is she has to do, men are very quick to dismiss and minimize that woman, because in a man's world, why are you worrying about feelings when what you gotta do is what you gotta do? Okay? I'm just trying to show y'all how men think. I'm not always saying that this is right, but this is how men think. See, a lot of men don't know how to hold space for their own feelings when it comes to doing what it is they're supposed to be doing. So if that man can't hold space for himself, how is he supposed to hold space for you? So fellas, this is where y'all gotta understand. A woman talking about what it is that she's going through, a woman talking about her experiences, that doesn't mean that that woman isn't capable. That's just that woman's way of regulating herself so that she can still do what it is she needs to do. But guess what? As her man, it is important for you to hold a space so that you could put eyes on her experiences. Because while your experiences may not be anything for you, her experiences are everything for her. Okay? Now, I can tell you another story, and I don't even know if my wife knows the story. My daughter was watching something on YouTube, right? And you know how YouTube algorithms sometimes to send them funny videos? Well, this was one of them times. And the funny video was saying how monsters live in the closet. And so we getting down, ready for our bedtime, our routine. And I noticed my daughter, she just bolted, because at this point, we're pretty comfortable in her room now. And I'm wondering, why is it that she running into our bed? So I talked to her in the hallway, and she says, Daddy, I don't know how to tell you this. And she telling me this like this my problem. She say, monsters live in the closet. And I said, what you mean monsters live in the closet, baby? She's like, yeah, they've been living in the closet now for a little while, so I probably got to sleep in your bed. I said, hold on now. I's a therapist. I've been in my office now from about 9 o'clock until about 7 o'clock. The last thing mentally that I try to deal with at the end of my day is dealing with monsters that I know don't exist. And so I could have told my girl to simply go to her bed and she would have listened because she's an obedient girl. But if my daughter goes in that room simply because she's obedient, it doesn't mean that I'm helping her deal with the need. And the need right now on my daughter's level, who's 6, is that monsters are real. Now fellas, this is where a lot of us lose our women. Stick with me, okay? Sometimes we gotta come off of our logical high horse to meet our women at the level of what it is they are experiencing. And I know what you're telling me right now. Harrison, this garbage. Harrison, this foolishness. Harrison, I shouldn't have to be dealing with things that are not truth. Yes, but you decided that you wanted a relationship with a woman. And what this means, you now hold a strong position in her life, and she depends on you for strength. So I said to my daughter, get your pink mini baseball bat. And my daughter loved drama, right? So she get that pink baseball bat and she bring it to me and she's like, well, what you could do with this? And I open up the closet and I start beating the clothes, right? And y'all know that new meme where it's like you gotta cover your head and you gotta kind of go through the things. And in my mind, I'm just like, this cannot be my life. I fighting monsters at 9 o'clock at night that don't even exist. But I gotta do this for the sake of my daughter, okay? And so now, there's a plastic bag on the floor. I pulled something off the closet, baby. I know what I threw away. I put it in the bag, and I said to her, I killed it. The bag got some weight, and she really can't believe that monsters are in there. So she kind of like backed up, right? I go to the big garbage, and I throw the bag inside the big garbage, and I say, let this be a lesson to the rest of y'all niggas out there. Don't come inside this house unless you looking to die. I came back inside, and now my daughter's ready to go to sleep in her room. So, what's the moral of the story? When I decided to meet my daughter at the level of what she was feeling, I legitimized her emotional experience as real and valid for her. Okay? I legitimize that I see what it is you're going through. And even though as a logical man, I feel like I shouldn't have to be doing this, I feel like I should be able to just tell you that monsters aren't real and you should be able to go to bed, I realized that I would have lost my daughter because she would see that her father is no longer a reliable source of safety. And from that point on, she now has to become something that I wasn't for her. Okay? So a lot of times, fellas, what it is your woman needs for you isn't going to come naturally to you because you are a man and she is a woman. And this is called the burden of relationships. When your woman is looking towards you for strength, when she's looking towards you for support, you got to understand, you don't have the ability to tell her how to feel about her own experiences. Okay? You can't tell that woman how to feel until you've shown her that I could see what it is you got going on. And see, a lot of y'all fellas are too quick to try and change your woman's experience before you listen to her. You're too quick to try and change that woman's experience before you fully heard her out. A lot of y'all men on this live right now don't know what it is to validate your woman because you feel like if I validate her in what she's feeling, that somehow I'm condoning garbage. That's not true. When you validate your woman for what it is she's feeling, you release her from her emotionality. Let's pause on this now. Fellas, there will come a time to correct your woman, but this ain't the time. Okay? If you try to change that woman's story while she telling you her story, she could say you just like them. Okay? Women don't necessarily need you to solve their problem, but they need you to listen to their problem. And some of us, the minute we start hearing about what our wives and what our girlfriends got going on, we trying to solve it. See, you got to stop doing this garbage. See, this your problem right here. You ain't never solve no problem if you keep on. You preaching to her. Now, what you saying, fellas, is true, but it ain't the right time. Okay? You got to be able to validate that woman so that she could be ready to receive your logic. Catch this now, guys. This one for y'all, babe. Validate your woman so that she could be more ready to receive your logic. An empty woman leans into what she trusts. Okay? A full woman leans into her neuroticism. Catch this now. When a woman is full, she's leaning into herself. She's doing the things that she thinks she needs to do to give herself peace. And so for a lot of women on this call, that's washing, that's cleaning. You'll always know when these women are anxious because they start scrubbing things that don't even need to be scrubbed. Okay? I ain't here trying to go to sleep now. My wife got things all over the counter because she got to clean down the shelves. It is 10:30. What you doing, babe? And my wife needs to talk about something, and guess what? Sometimes I got to pull that out of her. Sometimes she's not going to give me everything on the first pass. Hey, baby, everything cool? Yeah. Baby, you sure? Yeah, man, no problem. Go to bed. And in my head, I want to take that, you know. In my head, I'll listen to you because I know that if I keep on picking and prodding, there's a tsunami that's about to come after that. But guess what? That's my wife. If I don't cover my wife, who could cover her? This nigga named Jono down the road? Her ex? See, and this is the problem. A lot of y'all are allowing your women to go into the world because you haven't seen her experiences. And remember what I said earlier in this live? Men are dream sellers. All men got to do is be the opposite of what you're saying and be in. And women, a lot of y'all post yourselves online and don't even realize that y'all are giving these vipers and these devils a lot of ammunition. You're talking about, oh, I can't wait for a man who's intelligent enough to hold on to a decent conversation. If I pick that up as a man who's a predator, all I learn is to say to you what it is I think you want to hear, and I got you. And you know why I got you? Because you're not covered. See, you can't offer a woman something that she already has. Man, y'all ain't ready for this, bro. Someone said, are you ready to throw your shoe? No, don't do that. We don't have insurance in this live, miss. Don't do that. Y'all with me, though? Let me pick back up. Nobody could offer my wife something that she doesn't already have. Okay? Now, I'm the boss. Okay? I ain't got no big bunny outside in the back of my yard with eggs and they're talking about come meet her. I ain't got that kind of money. Right? What is it? Charlotte. I ain't got Charlotte. We got a dog named Patches. That's the best I could do, right? But guess what? If I'm intentional in covering my wife, if I'm intentional in seeing her emotionality, that's all I need to do. That's all I need to do. I don't need to carry my wife to Colorado, though she wants to go. I can carry her right there to Paradise Island if she's covered. See, a lot of y'all women ain't gonna receive the little bit that you're doing because you're not covering her properly. Whenever you see a woman who can't receive the little things, that's a woman who's not covered. Okay? Because when these women start stepping out on these men, they always cheating with basis. Okay? A lot of times women is presented as though they cheating up, but many times these women are cheating with basis. Simply because that baser did something you didn't do. Because you was too busy, because you didn't have the time, and because you believed that she should have been grateful for everything that you were doing already. Now, I'm not saying that she shouldn't have been. But I'm saying, fellas, sometimes you got to do a little bit more than simply providing financial security. Okay? So like I said, men are designed with the ability to compartmentalize our lives. But that's not always all women. This is why when men speak, he has already thought over his thoughts and feelings in his head. Okay? Whenever you all see a man who doesn't like feedback, that's because that man has already thought about what it is he thinks, what it is he wants, and what it is he wants to do. So he ain't speaking for dialogue. He's speaking to make a point now. Okay? This is why, women, you got to understand that when your man is quiet, he is thinking. Okay? It's not that your man doesn't love you. It's not that your man doesn't care about you. When your man is quiet, he is thinking. Now, sometimes, fellas, when we thinking, we got to learn how to communicate. Sometimes we're not giving our women enough information to make sense of what's going on with us when we're thinking. Okay? And so when a woman starts to assume, she always assumes the worst. Okay? So fellas, if you want to stop your woman from assuming, you got to learn to communicate while you're thinking. Okay? A man will not feel good about himself until what he produces with his thoughts and his hands take off. So you'll notice this is why, ladies, you could love upon a man But until that man starts doing what it is he needs to be doing for himself, he's not going to feel like he's enough. Okay? You could imagine you sitting down trying to make money, right? And you know you ain't got no money. And this woman have the nerve to come to you and say, but you know I love you, right? And in our head it's like, why? Why you love me and I can't do the things that I know you want to do? So you see, a man don't need love all the time. A man needs answers and solutions. A man needs practical steps. How can I improve upon my life? How can I start making more money? How can I start taking this business to the next level? That's what that man wants. And see, ladies, you got to learn how to respect that man's process. Now, I got something to say to y'all ladies on this chat, because y'all know y'all just get dead excited when I post things for y'all, but it just get dead quiet when I start posting stuff that's in support of the man. Hear me good? Ladies, the depth of your feelings is not an authority to be disrespectful to your man. I can let that one sit for 2 seconds. Let me look in this chart. I can say that one more time. The depth of how you feel is not permission or authority to be disrespectful to that man. And see, some of y'all women on this chat just allow your mouth to get the best of you. You think that because you're angry now and because you got a reason to be angry now, that means you could be disrespectful to him? See, it doesn't matter where that man is. Even sometimes when he's doing wrong, men still value process. It's still a way you go about doing things. That's why you see when a man is upset, when a man is going through stuff, he still says, but look at what I do though. You can't constantly let your feelings determine how you handle that man. Now there are some men out there who make it very difficult, okay, to honor and respect him. We're not talking always about that kind of man. Any man who is consistently doing wrong and consistently putting you in a position to think anxiously, we ain't talking about them sentiment. I'm talking about men who are trying to do better. I'm talking about men who are trying to lock in, men who are trying to focus. Just because that man is not doing things the way you want him to do it, that's not permission to be disrespectful to him. Okay? Plenty of y'all husbands and boyfriends to sit right there on my chair and say, boy Harrison, that same good woman that everybody is see, that ain't no good woman. Plenty women in this same country here, they think that because they know God that they is good people. Y'all ain't good people. In fact, it's some of these religious women that break down men the worse than women out there in the world. Okay? Sometimes we think that just because I believe I'm a good person, that means this man sees the same thing, but that's not true. Ask that man what the experience has been with you, and you'll see. You'll see it. Now that was a little tangent, right? But I had to get on y'all for that, okay? Because I think women allow their mouths to sometimes cost them a lot of things in the end, okay? Women are more of the bold creatures who will act on what it is they feel before a man does. And so I'm only saying that to protect my fellas in this job. This is not a session where we just bashing men. This is a session where we're dealing with truth, okay? And sometimes the truth hurts. Now, what men produce has to connect to one of the 3 P's. That's protection, that's provision, and that's priesthood. All right? If what a man is doing isn't able to protect the people that he loves, if what a man is providing isn't able to provide for what it is he loves, and if he isn't able to be of influence to the people under his umbrella, then that man is not going to feel like a man. Okay? I can say that one more time. If a man doesn't feel like he can protect the things he cares about, if he doesn't feel like he can provide for the things he cares about, and if he doesn't feel like he can be of influence to the people that he cares about, he's not going to feel like a man. Now, ladies, listen. That's why when these men cheat on y'all, they often cheat with women who are echelons below you. Okay? Because what that man gets from that woman who ain't got half of what you got is decency and respect. See, the only thing that would cause a man to leave steak and potatoes at home to go deal with peanut butter and jelly down the road, he ain't leaving for peanut butter and jelly. He's leaving for the environment that he gets with the peanut butter and jelly. I know if y'all ready for that. Like, say that one more time. Men don't walk away from steak and potatoes. Men walk away from environments. Okay? Whenever you find a man walking away from steak and potatoes to go deal with peanut butter and jelly, it's because of what he gets with the peanut butter and jelly. See, down the road, I feel like a king. But why in my home I have to prove that I'm a king? Why in my home do I have to earn the same rights as other men? Some of y'all women give more respect to your pastor than you do to your husband. My God. I know who on this live who need to hear that. Let me drink some water. Y'all good in this chat? Y'all ain't fighting in this chat, eh? That ain't even hurt. Listen, man, we got Bengay, we got Tylenol in the back, we got Icy Hot. I just want to make sure y'all get this truth, okay? Sometimes we give more respect to the men outside of our home than we do to the man inside our home. Some of y'all will give grace after grace after grace for your leader, for your minister, for your pastor, for your friend, for your co-worker. But the minute your husband or boyfriend frig up just once, you done? How are you supposed to send a message to that man that you care about him? If every time that man is trying to do a little bit to be better, you only showing him the lot of things he's been failing on. Men get tired of hearing that. Only so much of that kind of criticism one man could take before he starts to look for relief. And then y'all have the nerve to call these men weak because they're looking for relief from this constant barrage. But that ain't the case. These men ain't weak. Plenty of these men got sense because it don't make sense to sit in the house with a quarrelsome woman. You gotta go on the roof. That's what the Bible say, babe. And see, ladies, you gotta understand. You're not encouraging your husband by simply telling him what he's doing wrong. Okay? That's not how you encourage a man. You encourage a man by locking in onto what he's doing right. And so if the only thing that nigga doing right is that he hitting it from the right angle, you need to hone in on that. Okay? If the only thing that man that you decide to marry could do right is that he hitting it from the right angle, that's what you need to focus on. Okay? I ain't saying we neglecting everything else. I'm saying you need to start focusing on the little bit before you start focusing on the lot of it. Okay? If your man is a handyman, talk about how firm that doorknob feel when you came in the house today. But baby, I ain't gonna lie, that doorknob was solid, boy. You tighten that, eh? Yeah, I tighten that up, you see? And I know you feel like you don't have to give that man credit for the basics. I know you feel like you shouldn't have to be praising no man for the things he should be doing, but a lot of y'all women don't understand the principle of motivation. A lot of y'all don't know what it is to motivate your man. A lot of y'all only know how to be good women, but you don't know how to motivate a man. Why you think so many women in the church are single? Oh Lord, I shouldn't do that. See, the reason why a lot of women in the church are single is because y'all are only taught how to be good women. That's wake up early, that's go to church, that's dress nice, that's be kind. But a lot of y'all mothers did not teach y'all how to motivate men. Why? Because a lot of y'all mothers come from broken marriages too. You don't see what it is for your mother to motivate a man. You don't see what it is for your mother to be intentional with her husband. So you don't learn what it is to be intentional with your man. Your man come home every single day and the best he get from you is, That man just fight lions and tigers and bears and then he come home to, What? Now I only isolate in certain things, right? Life is real. And every day, ladies, I asking you to be in lingerie and you got to greet your man with a trench coat at the door. I ain't talking about that. I'm just saying that a lot of women in this chat could do better at motivating their man. See, that's your man. That ain't our man. That's your man. You pull your panties to the side for him. You go on to whatever church you went to. You go on to the justice of the peace. That's your man. That ain't our man. So you got to be the one to take care of your man. Taking care of your man is about focusing on your man. Okay? You met him where he was. You met him with 2 BGCSEs. You met him with a beginning business. You met him in the midst of a decision. You met him in his wilderness experience. A lot of y'all want men who are already out of that. But you wonder why those kind of men are married? You wonder why those kind of men who are outside of that wilderness experience are already married? It's because a lot of men had good women in their lives who understood the principle of motivation. I never once had my wife, who was my girlfriend, put me down. Plenty days my wife was putting money in my pocket before I was Harris and Thompson the therapist. She never emasculated me for that. She never made me feel less than because of that. And now we flying, babe. Okay, we flying. You see this ring she put on my finger? She upgrade my ring. What woman you notice upgrade their man ring before I upgrade us? I fallen off. Yes. I supposed to do that.
Yes. Please stick to the script.
I flying you out though. She got bags though. Okay? It's never a problem when she need to go on Amazon and clear a card. It's never a problem when she need to pick up something. Whenever she say, baby, you got to top up my account, I just top up her account like BTC. Okay? Because she was down in the trenches with me. But she also saw me being accountable to my vision. Even though I wasn't able to show her a lot of things, I was always able to show her my intentionality. And see, fellas, that's where y'all is lose the plot. Y'all is be asking these women to hold spaces for y'all, and y'all ain't giving these women nothing to hold on to. You can't just be talking about, a woman's place. Well, a woman got to submit. Submit to what? You ain't showing no vision. Don't get mad because women are not stupid. Women are not going to submit themselves to a man who is visionless. See, a lot of men are busy, but they are visionless. You want a woman to submit to you, it's never you that she's submitting to, it's the vision. You know why it's the vision she submits to? Because the vision ain't mine. The vision is God's. Once my wife sees that I submit myself to the vision God has given to me, she has to submit to what it is I have, because this ain't me no more, baby. This is of God. But see, a lot of us have lost the formula. That's because a lot of us have reduced our relationships to nothing more than a feeling. That's why when some of y'all get caught in these feelings, y'all just allow your feelings to let you get disrespectful and rude to each other. And so now y'all got to come to me on the last hour and y'all expect me to raise Lazarus from the dead. I don't do that, babe. That's what Jesus does do. I am not a savior. I am a helper. Okay? I cannot do miracles. I cannot save relationships from dysfunction. I can't do none of that. I can only help people who are serious about changing things in their relationship. And sometimes that means letting go of some dysfunctional patterns. Okay? Y'all with me so far in this chat? See, a lot of fellas thought that I just some kind of male basher. I am not a male basher. But see, fellas, y'all just let these women share posts that support what they got going on. And y'all don't share the posts that support what y'all got going on. So that's why you can't be mad when women share my stuff that speaks to them. I'm a very fair and balanced therapist. You could ask anybody that you know that comes to me. I'm fair in my office. But sometimes y'all just let these social media optics and perceptions fool y'all into thinking that I'm one side, and I'm not. The only side that I am on is the side of the truth. Okay? So when a man is serious about pursuing a woman, he has to conquer his selfishness to become selfless through the process of wholeness. Don't catch that? When a man is serious about pursuing a woman, he must conquer his selfishness to become selfless through the process of wholeness. Wow. So the only way a man can be selfless to his wife is to first be whole. Okay? If you are not a whole man, but you are looking for a wife, you need to stop. Because all you're doing is contributing to the divorce rates. And I say that with love, and I say that with respect. A lot of y'all is falling in love with the idea of marriage. But a lot of y'all are not preparing yourself for what marriage is. The beginning of marriage starts with the pursuit of being a whole person. Okay? Marriage is not broken. Broken people are entering into marriages and y'all are giving it a bad rap. Okay? That's the problem. The Bible actually says that a man must be willing to die for his wife. Okay? In our modern day terms, that means a man must be willing to be inconvenienced by the needs of those that he is serving. Whoa. See, I can't be of service to you if I'm looking at your need as an inconvenience to me. Okay? If what you need from me is what I interpret as an inconvenience, I now look at serving you as a problem. Okay? You all know whenever someone calls and the minute you see their name pop up on your phone, the first thing you do is suck your teeth. That's because you ain't interested in serving the need. See, when you really focus on what the need is, inconvenience has to be a choice. All right? If I like the wings from out east, and I really, really value those wings, I gotta be willing to be inconvenienced by the traffic. Now, if I'm not someone who values out east wings, I'm not gonna be willing to sit in traffic for them wings. Why I gotta sit in traffic for them kind of wings when I could go right here to Esso on the run for chicken? But see, that's because you don't value it. And see, many of us in relationships don't value our partner. That's why when our partner starts showing us our needs, or their needs rather, we start sucking our teeth. See, a lot of y'all don't have the mindset and mentality of service. And that's why y'all keep on thinking you're done with relationships. I done with man. I done with woman. You ain't done. Because the first thing you do when you done with your partner is you go deal with another person. Please tell me how that mean you done. You done with choosing service. You done with feeling like I'm giving myself to a person who ain't giving themselves to me. That's what you done with, but you're never really done with people. So the more whole you are, the more effective your service will be to those around you, especially your wife. Okay? The more whole you are, the more effective your service will be to those around you, especially your wife. See, fellas, because there are days that I want things from my wife that she can't give me. She can't give it to me because she's been spending all day with our child. She can't give it to me maybe because it's that time of the month. She can't give it to me because maybe she's going through things in her mind and in her day that I have no idea of. So I'm going to stop loving my wife because she's not doing what I want her to do? No way. I'm a whole man. I'm a comprehensive man. And though 15% of me is hurt right now, that's not the 85% of me that's left. You mean to tell me I'm going to let the 15% of what I'm not getting, I'm going to let the 15% of my being that's hurt, I'm going to let the 15% of my being that's disappointed dictate the fullness of my life? Never. But see, that's what men who are not comprehensive do. They allow the fullness of their life to submit to the 15% of them that's hurt. That's the ego. That's the fact that you ain't get what you want in this moment. And see, all of this reactivity that we've seen in the news, men killing their women, it's always men that are perpetrators of violent acts of crime against women. It's because men are submitting to the little of themselves that's offended because they don't have anything else to pull from. Okay? See, my inventory is deep as a comprehensive man. That means when one area of my life ain't working for me, I pull from another area of my life. When this area of my life ain't yielding fruit, this area of my life is yielding fruit. I'm comprehensive so that I could maintain consistency in my character through all seasons. One of the hardest things I have had to do, and I recently only just overcame this, it's learning how to love my wife through my own personal disappointments. Because many men in this same chat reduce their women to how their women make them feel. And so when my woman doesn't make me feel good, that's not permission for me to stop loving her because God commanded me to love her. God said love her. And I asked why. And he says, why ain't important. Just love him. God commanded women to respect that man. The woman said, well, why I got to respect him? And God said, shut up, babe. I ain't giving you the why. I said, follow my instruction. So he commanded women to respect. He commanded man to love. Because there's some things about our partners that we'll never understand, and we need to stop trying to understand it, and we need to start being obedient to what the need is. Wow. But see, a lot of y'all live these indulgent lives where it's just soft life. Where I want to do what I want to do. I ain't interested in nobody telling me I can't do what I want to do no more. And then y'all just carry y'all brokenness to y'all broken friends, and now y'all playing hot potato with brokenness. And brokenness only producing more brokenness. Y'all ain't feeding yourselves in your moment of vulnerabilities. Y'all are carrying the best of who you are to other broken people, and they fill your life with more brokenness. So you come home to that structure and you feed it with just more drama. more soft life, more I tired of this, more I tired of that. And I ain't saying you got to settle. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got to be more accountable to your own happiness. Your relationship is not responsible for your happiness. You are. And a lot of y'all have not mastered that happiness, and so you putting that responsibility on your man. You putting that responsibility on your woman. If I put my responsibility on my wife to make me happy, the minute she stopped doing what I want her to be doing, in my mind, what you here for? Okay? See, my wife is not just here to make me happy. She's my wife. She's her own person. She has agency. She has autonomy. Who am I to tell her that she doesn't have a right to go through things? I gotta be comprehensive enough to allow her to go through some stuff, right? You see what y'all saying in the chat. I want to shout, but I want to get put out of this apartment. Yeah, don't kill me, man. So listen, I soon finish.
Y'all fake.
Oh Lord, sorry, this chat hot. I have to go through this later, but don't worry, it's all being saved and recorded, so we could always come back to this and replay it for the gems, okay? So fellas, what girlfriends or wives are saying about their husbands, okay? Now, in my office, relationship management has been operating for about 30 years now. Relationship management has never had a breach in confidentiality. Relationship management has never had an issue with your business getting out there into the world, and it's not about to start today. So for those who see me privately, this is not about me giving your business away. But a lot of times when you all see me post online, it's because of trends that I am seeing in my office, okay? When I start seeing people talking about a certain kind of thing, that's letting me know people are affected by this, okay? Now, y'all women, y'all girlfriends say a lot of things to me, and fellas, this is the part that I want y'all to grasp. Because women often say that they try to communicate to y'all, but you're not fully receiving them for what it is that they're saying, okay? Like I said earlier, you cannot tell people how to feel. And furthermore, in your relationship, you either see what your partner's feeling, or neglect will start infiltrating your relationship. So let's talk about the first thing, all right? The number one complaint that wives and girlfriends bring to me in therapy is that their husbands are good providers and fathers, but horrible partners and husbands. Man, like I said that one more time. The number one complaint that wives bring to me in therapy is that their husbands are good providers and fathers, but horrible partners and husbands. So this is powerful. The average Bahamian man believes that provision is 90% of all he has to do in a relationship, when really it's closer to about 50%. Okay? So for all the men in the chat, I want y'all to hear this and hear this clearly. Provision is only 50% of what you have to do in a relationship. Okay? Provision falls under the category of duty. Okay? Duty is the emotionless action of doing what's necessary to survive and not perish. That's what duty is. Okay? That's paying bills. That's buying food or cooking food or putting food on the table. That's creating a safe space to live. This is duty. Okay? Maybe about a couple of decades ago, men thought that duty was 90% of what they had to do. So that's why you find a lot of men feel like they don't have to do more after they've paid bills. What more do you want from me? And I've already kept the light on. I've already brought home, I brought home the milk. I brought home the bread. What more is it that you need from me? Well, the fact of the matter is this, gentlemen. Provision is only 50% of what you got to do. That means a lot of y'all are letting your wives suffer in silence, and they calling it patience. Okay? Duty does not cover the responsibility that you owe your wife. Alright? If provision is only 50% of what a relationship needs, and that's all you're doing as her man, she's not complaining when she asks for more from you emotionally. Oh boy. Fellas, I want y'all to kill me for this, okay? Because I know this hot. I know this is the piece right here that spurred that last post I made 2 days ago. I'm elaborating on this now. If provision is only 50% of what a relationship needs, and that's all that her man is doing, she's not complaining when she asks for more from you emotionally. Okay? She's not asking for more money. She's not asking you to do more things. She's asking you to spend time. Okay? That's what she's asking for. She's not nagging. She's trying to get her needs seen. She's not complaining. She's trying to get you, her man, her security, her strong tower. She's trying to get you to see what's affecting her. Okay? But if you keep on calling this woman emotional, if you keep on calling this woman a nag, if you keep on telling this woman that she need to relax, that she need to chill, that she need to stop freaking herself out, you're telling this woman that what you feel does not matter to me. Okay? That's what your wives, that's what your girlfriends are telling me in the confidence of therapy. Okay? This ain't me telling y'all that. That's what your women are telling me, and I'm here to just relay the message to y'all if y'all ain't been hearing it. Okay? This is not to neglect that times are tough and provision requires more effort and resources now. So women, y'all gotta learn to give your men grace. But we went through that. Okay? I went through how you gotta start dealing with your man. Okay? So we know that. But men, remember that her understanding is not to be abused. Okay? Now I can elaborate on this. Many times, just because a woman understands that times are tough, that you're tired, don't abuse her understanding and don't confuse her understanding as an indicator that her needs have been met. Okay? When a woman tells you that she understands, fellas, that is a loan on time. Whenever a woman tells you that she understands, that is a loan on time. That means she's still waiting for you to come back and do the thing you originally said you was going to do. So if I said to my wife that we were supposed to go out on Thursday, but something came up at work and so I can't do it, and she says that she understands, she looking for me to do that on Friday. If it ain't Friday, then it's Saturday. If I don't get that done before Sunday, I in the doghouse. Okay? And fellas, a lot of y'all abuse your women's understanding. Because see, in our logical world, when two men say that they understand, they done. When me and my boy say we understand, we are done. We don't talk about that no more. We don't bring it up no more. We don't hear about it no more. We done. When me and my boy shake on that and we say we done, that's it. But when a woman says she understands, y'all having a conversation again in about 2 to 3 business days. Okay? That's not a nagging woman. That's a woman that's trying to get her needs met. Okay? Y'all with me so far? Let me know if y'all with me now. I could stop. You're talking good. I appreciate y'all, and thank y'all so much, man. Y'all could have been doing a lot of stuff on Saturday night. I really appreciate y'all showing up with me tonight. We soon done. So, let's talk about responsibility then. If provision is 50%, responsibility is the last 50%. Okay? Responsibility is the selfless action of doing what is necessary to create fulfillment in your relationship. Whoa. Responsibility is the selfless action of doing what is necessary to create fulfillment in your relationship. See, paying bills isn't fulfillment. Having food in your fridge is not fulfillment. Those are duties. It's good that you have those things, and let's not downplay that. Groceries are expensive. Okay? It's hard to keep the bill on, especially with this war that's going on over there in Iran. There's a lot of things that's affecting our ability to provide. So we do not downplay provision at all. No. But what we are saying is that provision is not the fullness of your relationship. If you're not learning her love language, if she's not learning your love language, fellas, if y'all are not learning to create safe spaces for emotions to be seen, to be heard, and to be validated, then it's understanding for that woman that's going to eventually turn into suffering. And that's where a lot of women are right now. A lot of women are tired of having to understand. A lot of men are tired of having to understand. See, only so long you could be an understanding person without results. We're not Jesus. See, Jesus doesn't need us. We need him. Okay? That's why he is eternally patient, because he never needed something from us. But see, as human beings, we can only be conditionally patient. I can only be as good as you're allowing me to be, simply because two have become one. I'm speaking from a marriage standpoint. See, when two have become one, I now need my wife in ways I never needed before as a single man. My wife now needs me in ways that she never needed me before as a single woman. We have intertwined our lives now, and when two have become one, there's nothing I can or cannot do that won't have an effect on her. There's nothing she can't do or not do that won't have an effect on me. And so just because she says she understands as her husband, I can't allow that to make me neglect the need. Okay? She says she needed something from me on Friday, and on Saturday she just see me chilling, so it's like, well, you forget me, nigga. What's going on? My God, looking at me, I'm not supposed to say that word. I am sorry. I apologize. So I'm not suggesting that women be treated like infants, incapable of doing different things. That's not what we're saying here at all. Because sometimes the narrative that supports women makes it seem like women are these very fragile creatures who can't do without things. That's not what we're saying. But fellas, what I am saying is you gotta learn to be responsible for the other emotional needs of your woman. Now, let's say that that's not you. Let's say you didn't grow up in a house or an environment that led to you being an emotional man. You gotta learn. Okay? It's not enough to just say simply, this is how I was born. You gotta like me or love me, take me or leave me. No. If that's your wife, you owe it to her to learn to be more emotional. If that's your husband, you owe it to him to learn to be more emotional. Okay? So I am saying, though, that we should be concerned about how we motivate each other and create impact in each other. You see, whenever my wife see me doing certain things in consideration of her without her having to ask me, that's impact. Okay? Whenever I get ahead of my wife's request, that's impact. Because getting ahead of her request means that she sees that I am thinking about her even when we're not communicating. Okay? Y'all can't get complacent in your relationships just because they're not asking you to do things. Some of y'all are very good at following instructions, but a lot of y'all are not intentional. Okay? And I was like that too. If my wife tell me take out the garbage, I take out the garbage. If my wife tell me wash the dishes, I wash the dishes. But sometimes if my wife don't tell me to do these things, I realize I don't do them. I realize that I have been a man waiting on her to tell me everything to do. So what kind of experiences am I creating in my wife? So impact is now about learning how to get ahead of that. I'm not saying I'm a mind reader. And fellas, I'm not saying you need to be a mind reader. And ladies, I'm not saying that your man needs to read your mind. I'm saying that the pattern of how y'all communicate, the pattern of how y'all interact, has information in it that you could use to get ahead of requests. Getting ahead of requests is a strong message that I care about you. Getting ahead of a request sends a strong message that I love you, that I'm interested in you. So even when we're not actively communicating, I'm still contributing to the relationship. All right? So the second thing, I should say maybe now, let's say the second thing. The second thing that y'all women are telling me in therapy, you don't separate your woman enough from other people. Okay? Proverbs 31 verses 28 through 29 says, her children stand up and call her blessed. Many women do noble things, but you are better than all others. Your woman is not going to feel special if the same energy you give in her is the same energy you give in everybody else in Nassau. Hold on now. Okay? Hear me out closely. Fellas, a lot of y'all is give y'all mommy the same energy you giving your woman. Nah, we ain't dissing our mothers. Your mother was your first love. That's the woman that gave you life. But see, a lot of y'all men don't have boundaries on how y'all handle other people separately from how you handle your woman, your wife. Okay? Nobody should be getting the same kind of attention. Nobody should be getting the same kind of energy that your wife is getting. That's why some of y'all wives can't walk around here with their heads up, because y'all giving these other women and babbits out here the same energy that you're giving your woman. See, I just see some of y'all out, and you can't tell if that's your girlfriend or if that's just your high school friend. Because everybody, man, that's my friend from high school. Man, that's my co-worker. I didn't know co-workers is carrying on like that. I didn't know co-workers is be juicing on the side. I didn't know people who were just friends is be carrying on like that. And see, because y'all don't have boundaries and how you separate what you're doing for your woman and other people, you start to make your woman feel like she's not special in your life. And then you got the nerve to come home and tell your woman that she's special. How is she supposed to feel special when she can't tell the difference between what you're doing for her and other people? You out your bed at 10 o'clock talking about, oh, she had a spare tire. You need to let somebody else save her. Okay? I'm about to be a little violent right now, okay? You need to let somebody else save her. These people is be too comfortable calling your phone at all hours of the night because you entertaining people like you is their savior. Sometimes y'all gotta know how to let that phone ring so people could see, listen, I got boundaries. I love you, but I don't love you enough to put my relationship in jeopardy. And if you keep on putting me in a position to choose between my wife and whatever it is you got going on, I am so sorry, but this do not disturb to be your best friend. Okay? Some of y'all too nice. Some of y'all too scared to hurt people's feelings. Some of y'all have made identities out of being people pleasers, but y'all don't know how to stand up because y'all are more focused on what people think about you as opposed to what you need to be doing in your relationship. And sometimes you got to set boundaries with your mother. Sometimes you got to set boundaries with your family. Sometimes you got to set boundaries with your kids. Okay? Y'all just get too comfortable being everything for everybody, and then you don't have nothing left for your partner when they come home. Okay? I know a lot of fellas complain about this to me. They say, Harrison, my wife just give everything to everybody, and when I come home, I just gotta understand that she tired. Okay, I understand that she was tired on Monday. Cool. You mean to tell me you tired on Tuesday too? Okay, well maybe you just need more rest. Then on Wednesday now you got a headache. On Thursday now, boy baby, we gotta start preparing for Friday. Then Friday come and boy baby, that event was a lot today. And then Saturday come and now we gotta start preparing for Sunday. And then Sunday night we gotta prepare for Monday. So when you could start giving me the same energy that you was giving other people? See, there are a lot of men right now on this call in your lives who watch y'all be people pleasers to the world, but y'all don't know how to be people pleasers to your man. Y'all is be people pleasers to everybody else in your life, but when it comes to your man, you don't know how to be a people pleaser to him. And then you expect that man to feel good coming home? You expect that man to feel good about what this is that's waiting on him? How? So you got to learn to set boundaries, because doing a good thing doesn't mean that it's the right thing to be doing. My God. I hope someone passing around the offering plate in the chat. I can say that one more time. The good thing is not always the right thing to be doing. And a lot of y'all have lost relationships because you didn't put boundaries on a good thing. Okay? You hear me? Therapy is a good thing that I do. Helping people is a good thing that I do. But the good thing to do is not always the right thing to do. And you got to get better at making the right decisions on the right things to be doing. Now just know, when you do the right thing, it ain't gonna feel good. Okay? The right thing is very rarely gonna feel good, because there are people who are used to needing you. There are some people who got so used to you rescuing them, it could feel like you abandoning them when you finally tell them no. When you pick up the phone and they start telling you their story again, and for the first time they hear out of your mouth you can't do something, they can say, man, Harrison, what changed? Man, Harrison, you never used to be like this before. Boy, Harrison, you changed ever since you get married now. Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes, I did change. And some of y'all on this chat, y'all got to learn to gift more people with your absence. Okay? Some of y'all are too available. Some of y'all are too quick to return calls. Some of y'all are too quick to return messages. Some of y'all are not unavailable enough. And that's why your relationships are suffering. You got to learn to be a little bit more unavailable to other people so you could be more available to your partner. You hear me? Because if you don't learn to become more unavailable to people, people will always have something else for you to do. Because tell me who walks away from an ATM that's giving out free money? I ain't doing it. If I go to this ATM and I put in $100 and $200 come out, I ain't taking that. and then another $100 come out, I supposed to walk away? No, no, no. See, y'all got to stop waiting on people to be better people, and y'all got to start setting better boundaries. Okay? A lot of y'all are ATMs giving out free money. That's why y'all keep attracting this brokenness in your life. People are attracted to that kind of consistency, knowing that they don't have to be accountable before they come to you, knowing that they don't have to do nothing before they come to you, because when they come to you with their problems, you're going to do everything in the world to fix it. That's how y'all got some people trained. Some of y'all got to break them chains in your life. Okay? So to honor that woman, fellas, you got to learn to listen first and solve later. So tips. We closing out. It's the last segment before I send y'all home. This is a checklist for men. All men that are interested in being better men in their relationships, this is for you now. Okay? You do not want to be a man whose decisions are determined by what he feels. Instead, you want to be a man whose decisions are determined by your character. Okay? Your character is who you are. Okay? Your character is not circumstances. Your character is not situations. Your character is who you are. So here's the first thing you got to learn to do. Acknowledge. About 80% of men struggle to acknowledge the reality of what they're going through. Okay? Fellas, you can't show up for your woman until you start showing up for yourself emotionally. Okay? A big part of what I said today in this live talked about how you got to see things to deal with things. Well, how are you supposed to change things if you never see what it is that you're going through, man? You're not just this bottomless tank that could keep on taking and toting, taking and toting. Eventually, you're going to blow. Eventually, that's going to pop. Eventually, that's going to start rimming over. And when it does, I'm sorry for those people that are closest to you. The second thing you got to do is stop expecting yourself out of your wife. Okay? Looking for yourself out of your wife means you like man. Okay? Expecting your wife to think like how you think, a man, that's you looking for a man. And if you're looking for a man, that means you like man. Okay? Now this is tough, because many times we value the way that we think. We value the way that we see the world more than other people. That's why when we do what we do, we're not expecting contention, because who can understand what this is? Who can see that that is simple? And fellas, just so you know, there's no such thing as a simple problem between men and women. Okay? It's just problems that you're dealing with and problems that you're not dealing with. And the reason why some people get so upset in relationships is because of simplicity bias. The more simple you think a problem is, the more likely you are to get frustrated when people don't do what you think they should be doing. Okay? That's how this goes. The more simple you think a problem is, the more frustrated you become when people don't do what you want them to do. I talking about your work friends. I talking about your church groups. I talking about your family. When you think that a problem is simple, and people don't do what you think is simple to do, that on you. That on you when you start getting frustrated, okay? That's not on people. Don't get angry because people are people. Get angry because you're not regulating the way you need to be regulating. All right? Number 3, understand the principle of acceptance. Okay? How sometimes in life, nature doesn't change. And you got to learn to see the nature of who and what people are. I said earlier, some of us fall in love with potential. In fact, I think that was a post I made today. Let me make sure I get that right. I want to say that properly. Oh, I can't even find the post now. Anyway, I said when you fall in love with potential, you're falling in love with something that doesn't exist. Now, accepting who a person is doesn't mean agreement. Okay? Just because I accept who you are, that doesn't mean I agree with what you are. Okay? So please don't feel like accepting the nature of people means that you agree. Acceptance is what you got to do so that you no longer get frustrated by people's nature. Okay? Some of y'all expect broken people to act like they're not broken, and that's not how that works. Sometimes y'all expect people to do things like they're not broken people, and it's like, that's your fault. If you get mad because a dog barks, if you get mad because a baby cries, if you get mad because a mango tree produces mangoes, that's your fault. Because you're not properly seeing and receiving nature for what it is. So if you want peace in your life, if you want more peace in your relationship, instead of fighting the person that you're with, learn to accept who they are. That way, when they show up as who they are, it's not going to upset you. Okay? And number 4, the last thing for the night, fellas. Become inconvenienced by what you don't know. Okay? Become inconvenienced by what you don't know. Now, how do I know that I know something I shouldn't be knowing? Or how do I know that I don't know something I should be knowing? Mistakes. The only way you will realize that I don't know something I should be knowing is when you make a mistake. So don't look at mistakes as something that you need to hide from. Don't look at mistakes as something that you need to avoid. Understand that mistakes are an opportunity for you to grow in your relationship. Boy, a lot was said today. I didn't even have an opportunity to really go through this chat, so y'all please forgive me. Sometimes when I get passionate about some things that I'm talking about, I just get in a mode, and I don't want to lose them nuggets because someone need that. But essentially, that is the life, okay? And I hope that what today did was it gave some insight on some of these radical posts that I've been carrying over the last couple of days, because I never post things with the intention of hurting people. Even though a lot of y'all is be misusing my posts. I just see some of y'all clipping things and y'all is be using it in ways that it ain't supposed to be used, but I can't control that. I just want y'all to know that when I post things, I do it because I care about people. Okay? In the work that I do in therapy, I can't allow dysfunction to continually persist. Because that's what you paying me for. You paying me for truth. You paying me for solutions. You paying me to help. And sometimes help doesn't feel good. And sometimes I have to structure things in such a way to trigger certain things in people. Okay? I don't do it just for drama because I'm not a man into drama. I post things in a certain way because I need to reveal the core of what the issue is. And sometimes if that means I gotta be the villain, I could be that. Okay? That means sometimes I gotta disturb the peace a little bit, I could do that. Okay? So again, I thank you all so much for tonight. Let me see if I could shout out some people. Miss Princess Woods, I see you in the chat, man. I appreciate you so much. Keep on posting, we need you. We need everybody who got comedy right now in this silly season, because trust me, boy, if you all don't stay sober-minded in this season, I feel bad for you. All right? So I appreciate y'all so much. The live is going to be up. It's going to be saved. I wish I was set up like your boy Brown, but I ain't got that kind of setup tonight. I would have started taking your calls too, but unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity to do that. So stay tuned for the live to be posted. If there's anything that y'all want to ask me privately, I run all of my pages myself. I am the only person who has eyes on this page, so please don't feel like you need to worry about who can see that. It's only me. All right? Y'all have a good night. Y'all be safe. Please share this live, because if you don't know who dealing with things, you don't know who going through stuff, I just want to make sure that everybody gets what it is they need to be getting. Okay? So y'all stay blessed. Y'all be good. I can see y'all tomorrow, all right? Love y'all.